It's Halloween. Well, it's not necessarily Halloween, but it's October, so that means it's Halloween. We're just not going to talk about my makeup in this clip or in any of these clips that exist. Okay, we're just not going to talk about it. Hey guys, it's Mel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am stuttering and obviously forgot what intro I'm filming. Hey guys, it's Mel. Welcome back to my channel. Today, or whenever you're watching this, I'm going to be showing you how to make a life cast. It's not a full-on face cast, or like, I don't know, it's not the full head, shoulder area. That would be really dope, but you know, your girl's not that talented and I don't have those kind of supplies. I've had a few people ask me how to make a face cast. This is really easy, really simple. Look how beautiful my mom's face is. Look how glossy it is. Oh my god, disregard that. I don't know what that is. But yeah, you only need a few supplies. You are going to have to go and buy supplies. When you're doing things a little bit more advanced, you're gonna have to go buy supplies. If you're against buying supplies and you're one of the people that just want to like use whatever you got at home, sorry. You can use some stuff from home, but unless you got some plaster gauze and plaster of Paris or something like that at home, you're gonna have to go buy it. You're going to need plaster wrap or plaster gauze. That's pretty much, I call it plaster gauze, some people call it plaster wrap. Pretty much what it is it's gauze covered in dried plaster, and it activates and becomes liquid plaster when you put it in water and kind of like rub it. So you're gonna need like 1 or 2 bags of these. You're gonna want to get the shorter ones. There's another option where you get ones that are like longer in like width. I feel like that makes it difficult. I just like this. And I got that from Michael's and I think they were like $6.99 or something like that. They weren't too bad. And then you're going to need sanding supplies, basic sanding supplies. I like to get the roughest grit. I'm not like a professional when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I like to feel it. And if it's rough, that's what you're gonna want because you're gonna be trying to smooth out their face and it works faster. I get the Gator finishing product stuff. It came with 2 of these guys. Some sides are rougher than others. Another side is smoother. It's really helpful. I really like these. And if you're really having a hard time, you could actually cut this and you have a thinner thing to like get in. You are also going to need Gorilla Glue, but don't get like the puffy, nasty foam Gorilla Glue. Get the clear Gorilla Glue. That's what this gloss is. You're gonna want glue or something to protect the face cast so it doesn't like chip and flake and whatnot when you're putting stuff on it. Also, if you're putting latex and stuff on this, it makes it easier to pull the latex off. It protects it, okay? It protects the face. I put probably like 2 or 3 layers of it. It will literally say, some stores sell it, other stores don't. I got this from Walmart along with the sanding stuff. I got 2 of these and I used, not 2, I didn't use 2, but I like to get more than enough rather than pouring plaster in and realizing that there's not enough and then all your work is kind of like down the drain a little bit. It doesn't look good. It's kind of weird. Got the 4-pound ones, and then you're gonna need water, but hopefully you can get that from home. And then you're gonna need some mixing bowls that you're not too afraid of ruining. You can't, it's not ruining it, but like you're gonna have to scrape some dried plaster off of them. So that is pretty much it. When you're doing the person's face, make sure somebody else is around, make sure they're comfortable and they know what's going on. You're gonna be covering their mouth, you're gonna be covering their eyes. Their eyes will be covered, the eyebrows will be covered, their nostrils will not be covered. Okay, they gotta be able to breathe a little bit. Make sure they're okay. Ask them a few times. It'll probably wind up being a game of charades because they'll see that's kind of how it always is. This is my 3rd face cast that I've done. I've done Austin, my friend Lauren, and now I've done my mother. Pretty simple, kind of a mess. If you're doing this on carpet or like hardwood floors or anything like that, get a tarp or something to put down underneath you because it will drip. I mean, if it's on tile, when it dries, put water on it, it'll come off. It's not like the end of the world, but it'll stick to carpet, so you don't want to like ruin everything. Also, don't pour leftover plaster down the drain. Don't pour hard plaster down the drain. Don't flush it down the toilet. Don't do any of that. Pour it into a garbage bag and throw it in the trash. It'll ruin your piping and stuff like that. It'll mess up your plumbing because it could stick to the pipes depending on how much you put. Just don't risk it. I think that's all for the disclaimers and the rambling. Okay, without further ado, here's my mom. Look at how freaking cute my mom is. I don't know what she's doing right now, but anyways, you're gonna want to put Vaseline or petroleum jelly, same thing, all over any hair that's on their face. Don't count baby hairs. I mean eyebrows, eyelashes, hairline. Make them look slimy and weird and make them feel uncomfortable, but make sure you're not waxing the important parts of your face off. Offer them one last drink before their mouths close shut for 30 to 45 minutes. And I also cut up a big black garbage bag so it didn't drip on her clothes. Cut up the dry gauze into convenient strips, dip it in water, and manipulate it with your fingers, doing exactly what I'm doing on her face right now. You see all those little gauze holes? They have to be filled in with plaster. And that's done. Are you serious right now, Ollie? Really? Anyways, make sure you're getting the plaster gauze in their really important crevices of their face, like along the side of their nose, along their cheekbones, along their lip lines, so you know where everything sits when you go to pour the plaster in, so the plaster picks it up. Otherwise it's gonna look like a weird, awkward face with no definite facial features. That's the most important thing. And then you're gonna do this over and over again and do probably 3 to 5 layers all over their face until when you knock on their face, it feels and hears hard, if that makes any sense. And even though you're gonna have to put it over their mouth and their eyes eventually, I like to kind of postpone that a little bit. So notice that I did her cheeks and her chin first before actually covering her mouth so that she could kind of talk to me a little bit, you know, kind of, just to make it more comfortable for the person you're doing it to. When it comes to the nostrils, I like to cut up a really skinny strip and place it right in between. Once it comes off of her face, you'll be filling in the little holes. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to talk about this. If you are planning on doing this to yourself, please, 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 please make sure somebody is around you while you're doing this in case something goes wrong, something happens. And at some point, you're going to be doing this blind. You got to cover your eyeballs at some point. Better off have them do it to you, so it's just overall safer and easier. You know, you feel me? Then once it's time to take it off, loosen it along their neck, because that's really crazy baby hair territory and they'll freak out. And then have them wiggle their face around and it should become loose and easy to just take off. See, look at that. Now this was pretty much my setup the whole time I was doing it. I was pretty much cutting them up into those oblong strips, but I'm cutting smaller strips now so that I can fill in the holes that were left on her mask, like her eye slits, her nostrils, and then I wind up eventually building up the sides so that plaster can get deeper and it doesn't pour out the edges. Now when it comes to filling in the nostrils, really make sure you shove your fingers like up there. Make the nostrils as prominent as possible so that it can transfer into the plaster when you pour it in. Then for the eyes, I wound up flipping the face cast over and applying a layer pretty much the same way I did to the front, just trying to make everything a little bit more seamless and smooth where the plaster will be sitting. Now, there is one thing that you have to have, otherwise this is going to be ruined and so difficult. Petroleum jelly or Vaseline, you need to have it. Now that that's out of the way, you're going to need something that's going to steadily hold your face cast while the plaster is sitting in it. It has to be even as possible. It can't be to an awkward angle. So I pretty much stuck 2 towels next to it to hold it in place. And now I'm just building up the borders of her face so the plaster can sit deeper and it looks more real. This is what you can't miss, otherwise it's going to ruin your entire face cast. Cover the entire face with something oil-based. I'm using petroleum jelly, Vaseline works, olive oil works, anything oil-based, because we kind of want to get the plaster out of that face cast, right? Now it's time to mix the plaster. Mix the plaster when you know the next thing you're going to do is going to be pouring it into the face cast, because once you mix it, you don't have a lot of time to work with it before it starts setting. Mix 2 parts plaster of Paris with 1 part of cold water. So how I pretty much do it is I do 2 cups of plaster of Paris with 1 cup of water, and I keep adding to it so that I know my measurements are correct. So the consistency shouldn't be a paste, it shouldn't be super thick, but it also shouldn't be like water. It should have a thick consistency when you stir it. Once you're done mixing it, automatically start pouring a little bit into the face cast and push down to make sure it gets into all of the little important crevices of the face. Then fill the rest of the face cast in. If you didn't make enough, it's not the end of the world. Go and make a little bit more quickly and just add to the face cast. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. If you're trying to use all of it as much as possible, use your hands. It's not the end of the world. It'll wash right off of your hands. But make sure you use a paper towel or something first to wipe it off of your hands so that you're not literally putting wet plaster down a drain. And then I let it set for a night to make sure that it's all completely dry. And then this is the stressful part. Use your fingers to really lift up the edges of it like you see me doing right now. Be patient with it. Don't shove a fork down the side of it or something like that right away. You could scratch the crap out of it. You could chip it. Just be really patient. It gets kind of stressful. Eventually, you'll be working your fingers down to loosen up where the eyes are, where the nose is, because that's where it really sucks to it. Once you get her face out of the cast, just stand away. I go in circular motions, don't go back and forth. It'll break everything down even more. It'll create streaks when in all reality you're trying to get a really smooth, seamless finish. When it comes to around the nose, around the eyes, really try not to erase their facial features. That's a really important thing to remember. Once you got everything sanded, dude, you're done. All you gotta do is do like 2 or 3 layers of the clear Gorilla Glue. Clear, not foam. And then you're gonna want a paintbrush that you don't care about because it's gonna be ruined, so just get a really cheap one from like one of those $3 packs at Michael's. And then just paint away. Let it sit. Probably elevate it a little bit, watch it for a while because it might drip down the sides and you don't want dried drips on the side of their face. After that, you're done. You got a face cast. You can do whatever you want to it now. Hopefully that was helpful and easy to understand. As always, if you have any questions or constructive criticism or ideas or recommendations or anything like that, DM me on any one of my social medias about them. Comment down below any of them. Like this video if you want to. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload videos every single week. Click that notification bell so you're updated and notified when I do upload a video, considering I don't upload on a specific day yet. I don't know if I'll decide to do that. I might decide to do that, but not yet. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful and educational. Thank you so much for watching if you made it to the end of the video and you didn't click out and get bored of me. And I will see you in the next video next